patriotic enthusiasm for the democratic way of life reveals itself in a monster loyalty parade in New York. Everyone from vets to youngsters reveals his inborn dislike of communism.
Anti-communism became the language for a new, more defiant vision of America. Singer Paul Robeson was open about his communist sympathies. In Moscow, he was welcome.
Oh, that barge, lift that sail, you show a little grit, and you land in the jail. But I keeps laughing instead of crying. I must keep fighting until I'm dying, and old man River, he'll just keep rolling along.
In America, people were less friendly. Veterans of the American Legion turned out to demonstrate in 1949 when Robeson was due to sing in a concert at Peekskill, New York. The police expected trouble.
The slogans of the demonstrators, it went, go back to Russia, you white niggers, for instance, over and over. Commies, niggers, Jews. You got in, but you're not going to get out alive. Hitler didn't finish the job. We will.
The concert turned into a riot.
What the demonstrators have done is have piles of rocks. What the state police did is make the cars go out and go 10 miles an hour through that gauntlet. So the road, I mean, cars were smashed, the windows were smashed, the road was actually slick with human blood. An interracial couple just driving through happened to arrive at that moment. And of course they pulled the car over, they yanked the two of them out, and they said, that's Robeson Jr., we got him. And they were gonna bash the black guy's head in. I was standing over with a baseball bat, and a veteran, man in uniform, army uniform, said, wait a minute, that's not Robeson. I know the pictures. That's not Robeson. That's not him. The guy said, well, blankety-blank is with a white woman, kill him anyway. And the soldier said, held the bat, said, no, no, that's not the American way. You don't lynch the wrong nigger. And it saved his life.
Race hatred and the politics of fear had begun to merge. At home, the nation was angry and insecure. Abroad, communism was gaining force.
The atom bomb explodes again in the headlines of the world. President Truman announces an atomic explosion detected somewhere in Russia, 3 years ahead of the schedule expected by the West.
America's nuclear monopoly was over. Then came China.
Tragedy overtook China. Armed and equipped by Russia, red hordes brought ancient Cathay to its knees. At the end of '49, all China sags under the red yoke.
Communist leader Mao Zedong took over. America's Chinese allies, the defeated Chiang Kai-shek regime, fled with their followers into exile.
Americans have always had, most Americans, a special feeling, a special attachment, a special interest in China. So it seemed incredible to most Americans, uninformed Americans, that this country which we had lavished so much care and affection on, who we thought was so friendly, so many of their people had studied in America and so on, should turn communist, turn over to the other side. Many people felt that there had to be some explanation. There had to be some sort of a conspiracy, some sort of a plot.
Republican Senator Joe McCarthy blamed traitors in the State Department for the loss of China. He launched his own witch hunt.
Today, the most dangerous enemy agent is not so much concerned with the secret information about weapons as he is with infiltrating the necessary departments of the government and shaping and controlling the actions of our nation so that the enemy is progressively winning without even firing a single shot. Now, I intend to name names. John S. Service. And remember that name, if you will.
I have never knowingly transmitted any information which was, shall we say, secret military plans.
Service was hounded out of the State Department.
I had trouble renting homes, renting an apartment in New York. And the companies, well, what will our stockholders say, you know? So the companies that I'd known and had dealings with abroad, export companies, they said, sorry, we think you're a fine guy, but we don't dare touch you.
One communist. One communist on the faculty of one university is one communist too many. One communist among the American advisors at Yalta was one communist too many. And even if there were only one communist in the State Department, even if there were only one communist in the State Department, that would still be one communist too many.
President Truman tried to dismiss McCarthy's attacks.
Not a single person who has been adjudged to be a communist or otherwise disloyal remains on the government payroll today. We're not going to turn the United States into a right-wing totalitarian country in order to deal with a left-wing totalitarian threat.
But leaders of the American Communist Party were jailed, and the persecution spread. Left-wing labor organizations were banned, radical groups indicted, demonstrations broken up.
And if they put the word commie on someone, that meant that that person was an agent of the Soviets. That meant that that person was dangerous and had to be done away with.
The FBI under Edgar Hoover uncovered several Soviet spy rings. They used the national interest to justify any method of locating subversives.
We were using the same methods that Hoover accused the Communist Party of using, and that's getting people to spy on their friends. And this was one of the criticisms he had of the Communist Party.
I felt guiltless. What had I ever done wrong? I'd never even gotten a traffic ticket. And here I was called before, in public, a state Senate investigating committee about my beliefs. I felt very, very wronged, and I felt that I had to not only uphold myself, my reputation, but that of my fellow teachers, my fellow union members, my fellow citizens.
We would talk to children, if they were in college, about their parents, and we talked to parents about children, and we talked to the neighbors about those people, and then if someone did seem halfway sympathetic in the Communist Party, we talked to them.
It was totally damaging to what we deeply believed America was supposed to stand for.
In the 1952 presidential election, General Eisenhower, the Republican candidate, chose the red-baiting Richard Nixon as his running mate. Eisenhower mocked the Democrats for being soft on communism.
The future of this country belongs to more courageous men. It belongs to men who know that freedom's fight must be forever, relentless, uncompromising, and fair. It belongs to men who, today, are ready to bear spiritual and intellectual arms against an alien army of communist ideas.
To get elected, Ike needed the support of Joe McCarthy and his right-wing followers.
I spent about half an hour with the general last night. Well, I can't report that we agreed entirely on everything.